I've never been to Bhutan, and I honestly never really heard much about it. The only thing I knew about Bhutan is that it's the happiest place on earth. They're known to measure their country's growth by happiness over product. I am very excited to explore this country, learn as much as I can, and hopefully capture it through my photography. My name is Natalie Amrossi, also known as Misshattan on social media. I am a self-taught photographer, born and raised in New York City. I worked at JP Morgan until I hit my breaking point and realized that photography is my true passion in life. This year, I actually decided to leave my apartment and all of my things behind and live on the road. The moment we landed, we were greeted by our incredible tour guides, Karma and Chang.
Welcome to Bhutan. It's an hour drive to our capital city. So as of now, we are in Poro. This is the only international airport that we have in the country.
I'm Karma. I will be your guide throughout your journey in Bhutan. Our country was isolated until 1950s. During the time of our third Dugalpo, Wangchuk, we opened a door of friendship to India. We have been ruled by the king for almost 100 years, and in 2008, Jigme Singye Wangchuk changed the system of government from absolute monarchy to democracy. Our government is looking at the best side of development, but at the same time, they do want to preserve our culture, our tradition. This city is the most populated city in the country because of all the headquarters. Even the college graduate students come to Thimphu city in search of job.
For this trip, I challenged myself and used a new body, the Sony a7R III. It was really easy approaching locals, mainly because it's a small body and it doesn't look as intimidating as other cameras may seem. So you're really able to capture pure, candid moments.
The national sport is archery. Archery is mainly played by men. Each archer will get 2 arrows. Previously, they used to play the game between 2 teams. Now, the game can be played with like 4 to 5 teams as well.
Today was definitely a great opportunity to get some portraits in and do some street photography. Being our first official venture and heading to a sacred monastery, I decided to stay minimal and keep my Sony a7R III with a 24-70 lens.
We are here at Dzongs Monastery. This monastery as of now houses 270 monks. It was founded as a fortress back in 12th century. Later, it was turned into a monastery. In order to join monk, there is no age limit. In a monastery, we can see young kids, hardly 5 years old. Initially, when they join monk, they are taught how to read and write. The monks who are studying in this monastery, they hardly know each other. But as the time passes, the bond from friendship becomes brotherhood.
It was a beautiful sight inside the dining hall. The rays of light were shining in while the children were eating, and I was able to get a variety of different shots using my 24-70 lens, keeping my aperture low at f2.8. I kept my shutter speed around 2/100ths of a second, and from there adjusted my ISO accordingly. Shooting with a 24-70, I was able to pick up some range between myself and the subject, giving them space to act natural. Since most of the monks were backlit, I overexposed my images just a little bit, but it turned out to give a really nice dreamy effect to my photos. The kids were super playful, and although they were dressed in their traditional monk outfit, they were still kids. They were still having fun. They were playing soccer, and it was just an incredible sight to see. We just arrived to the art school. Can't wait to walk inside these classrooms and see what the kids are working on. For this instance, I'm going to be using my prime lenses that I brought with my Canon, 35mm, 50mm, and 85mm. I think it's the perfect situation for indoor shooting. It was the first time in any country that I ever visited a school focused solely on creating art.
Our country is known as the country of gross national happiness, and one of the pillars is preserving and promoting our tradition and culture. Students are taught woodcraft, sculpture, embroidery, silversmith, tailoring. The one way to actually preserve our custom and tradition is by having this kind of institution of 13 Arts and Crafts School.
So you relieve some stress. We found ourselves near a local Bhutanese weave shop and watched the woman weave these gorgeous wearable art pieces. It's my favorite type of shopping while traveling. Not only do I get these handmade, one-of-a-kind pieces, but I also get to support the local Bhutanese women creating them. What do you guys think? After visiting the art school, weave center, and paper shop, I realized how detail-oriented the Bhutanese are when creating their art. In the next episode of my travel diary.
We are here at the Tshechu Festival. We call it as Tshechu, which literally means the 10th day of a month as per the moon calendar.
I'm gonna get these kids! I've taken hundreds of photos and I just can't wait to go home and look through them. As a photographer and as well as a traveler, these are the moments that I'm looking for.